Once again, welcome to this to another session of the book review. We will be talking today about The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Eckhart Tolle. About wait till you learn another book.
Not this first time. Let me first of all say what I learned, like the overall knowledge of the book that most people are not living their existence. And I realized that for one, I wasn't living, rather I was just existing. Yeah. And the way to live is to live in the now and not in the past or in the present. And most often we live in the past, we live in the future and not in the present, not in the now. And that is why we derive so much unsatisfaction in the things that we do, even when we have that achievement that we are craving for, but it's like we want more, or we are hunger for more, or we think that if I have this thing, I'll be satisfied. And when the thing comes, you still feel the void, you still feel like you're not complete. That is because we are not living now, we are living in the future. It's either you're living in the future or you're living in the past. We are not living in the present.
Okay. The most intriguing part about this book comes from the beginning, when he told the story. Eckhart told the story. I'm talking to me when come off my corner. When Eckhart told the story of let's close that door. In fact, locker. Yeah. When Eckhart told the story of that beggar, of the beggar who had been begging for close to 30 years, and then that stranger came and he was asking, "Do you have something to give me?" And the stranger said, "I have nothing to give you, but what are you sitting on?" And the beggar said, "It's just a box." And when they told him to look inside, on looking inside, he saw gold and everything. And he has been sitting there for close to 30 years, begging for something that he was sitting on. So it's really interesting. It's a really interesting story and really intriguing. So he got to realize that okay, most times the significance of that story makes us most times what we are looking for is in
You
us.
know,
It's either in us or it's very close to us, but we are looking for that.
that's
So
true.
that's a very, very interesting story. Then the power, the now issue of it, the present moment. It's very, very challenging to live in the now. It's really, really challenging because most of the times we've spent most of our lives either thinking about the past or the future. It's really, really challenging. So the intriguing thing now is the understanding he made us to know, made me to understand that even the future is a combination of the moments, of present moments. But if you take the future you are thinking of, or you will only get there if you focus on doing the now. If you focus on doing what you're supposed to do now. And the past too is almost the same thing. So it's really intriguing because for once, I think that is one of the main reasons why meditation comes in, for you to be able to focus on the now. And there is this meditation technique, they call it weighting of the rose, I've forgotten that name, where you take an item, like you can decide to take just this one and you focus on this for 5 minutes, just on this. And when you start there, so for the next 1 minute, I don't go even the inside.
Maybe like,
For the next 1 minute, those are the one that say, okay, I'm getting to night for you. Or you start thinking of something that happened in the past.
yeah,
In the long run, you're lost. But when you succeed to focus on this for that 5 minutes, it's going to help you focus on other stuff. And in the long run, you easily feel more fulfilled. So it's really amazing, but it's challenging.
it's
Yeah.
very,
To be
very
able to
challenging.
focus on the now is not an easy task. It's not. It's not. And it's something that you have to be conscious in doing. Play no David.
See, when I was listening to a question, I was asking this question, okay, you're saying that we should not live in the future, we should not think about the past. So now, how do I how do I build a better future for myself? Because obviously I have to think of how, okay, like let's say I have a vision and I want to achieve this vision in this particular time frame. So how do I achieve this vision
So I think
without looking into the
I
future?
think Eckhart was saying here that he did not say don't think about the future, but don't focus on the future.
Don't focus on the future that you are so distracted that you don't even feel the now.
You don't even feel the now.
Yes.
And that is one thing that I'm so guilty about. So guilty. When you check how tomorrow, so you go do some particular thing. Any other thing will happen that not concern you. But meanwhile, those things might have been something that will even help you do what you have to do tomorrow better. But in the long run, I do not focus on today. And tomorrow you're gonna have to do that thing you plan to do. I discover say you lack some particular skill or you lack some particular thing where if you do that yesterday, you never lack that thing today. It's an interesting, very, very interesting book. Focusing on the now.
It really makes us to realize that most of them we are not actually living our life the way we should, or we are not actually living life as it is supposed to be. So, like Eckhart said, when when our only focus is on the future or in the past, we are not grateful for the things that we've achieved. But once you have the grateful heart, once you are happy with how far you have gone, or how far you go, or how much you've achieved in the now, you start to see that you are living in the present. You're no longer living in the future. You're no longer living in the past. He said that if they have to take away alcohol and drugs in the world, it will be more clear for us to see how devastated people are. And that's just the whole truth. Sometimes people take alcohol, say, I just want to feel good, but then you've not really answered, or you've not really answered the real question why you're taking the alcohol. It's because you feel like you want to run away from the thoughts,
The present
yeah,
thoughts,
the
yeah.
present thoughts, and now you're putting yourself in pain, and all those things, you're just trying to run away from them.
Massa.
And I think it's so messed up.
No, I didn't even put that with university. I put that on myself. I'm so messed up because be tricky to think
Before
about
we
it
finish
now.
the book, you remember yesterday I was telling you that this life this time around is so boring. It's like you've done yourself so much with some certain things, or you've shielded yourself from certain things and you feel protected. Then something happened and it's like that shield was taken away and you were so happy. When my father had this accident, it was like all the shit like built around me.
Oh man.
Throughout the whole thing, it's like in the house I was the most affected. I wasn't feeling myself. I was thinking and thinking and thinking, and now I now gave the girl something to feed on. Even after I saw he was recovering fast and getting stronger every day, and I was happy, but then I started thinking of other things that were not even linked to that area. And just got me. I stopped living at the present and not living in the past and the future. I started thinking, oh, I wish I had a job because now he needs all the money he
Mhm.
can, and now, oh, I don't have a job, I'm not achieving anything. It's just making life so difficult and frustrating. Whereas before, and all this shit around me, that I just know that my life is a process, I'm a process, and everything has its own time, and things will unfold at the right time, at the good time. With now just like I forgot about this. It's just like
Your
I
mind was just in the future, say,
yeah, it's just
hey.
in the future.
And in the past, if I had done this,
Yeah.
maybe it would have been better today. What if something happens to this man and he needs a lot of money? Where is that money going to come from? What if something happens to him and he's no more? How will I survive?
Yeah, so it's like
So you were not even focusing on, okay, how do we get him to be feeling less pain, and how do we get him to be better at this particular moment?
or even feeling grateful that the injuries
I'm not seeing
are
that
not
severe.
severe. I just think that this book was kind of
So it seems like focusing on the now, one thing is going to make you grateful for the things that are happening around
yeah.
you. But focusing on the past or maybe on the future will make you less appreciative. the things that are around you.
You always want more, you keep wanting more.
And it's gratefulness that will get us whatever we want, not even
That's just
anxiety, not even
that's
this
true.
thing.
That's true. Anxiety keeps you in pain.
Yeah.
It stops you from reasoning normally.
Because you start anxiety
Because in the
means
state of anxiety, you cannot be creative.
that's the challenge. You cannot
That's just true.
you cannot be creative. You
Even
cannot
if
make
you're creative, you will not be satisfied
true.
because you feel like you want to do more. You feel like you should do more. Yeah, because it said even if out of the pressure of the past, the present, you create something good, you come to realize that you don't really find that fulfillment in whatever you've done. You keep on thinking that it's just you continue looking into the future.
Yeah, once you achieve that future that you were looking at, you see another future.
Yes. It's just like you can just say, "Man, like, I'm making this for 5 million yen, so almost for enough stuff." And you have the 5 million, but you're like, you can get 20 million now, so you just keep wanting, keep wanting. And that's what's feeding the ego. I always say that all of this is the same. They're involved in the car. All of them, like everything in the car.
Uh, no, it's
It really helped me.
right now I'm trying to get myself to that point where I can conveniently focus on the now. Because I've read a lot of books and I've practiced a lot of things I learned in those books. But this power of now, master, it's it's an eye opener for me. And it gets me to a point where I can reflect on. I remember there was one time I had to put a movie, and I told myself that okay, I'll focus only on this movie till it gets to the end. At the end of that movie, I was so happy and so satisfied because most times I'm watching a movie and I'm thinking about another movie. I'm thinking about another thing that I would have been doing at this moment rather than wasting my life watching this movie. So it's interesting that I was watching that movie and I got myself to focus on it. And at the end, I felt fulfilled. I felt joy just from watching the movie, just focusing on it without judging whatever is happening in the movie, just enjoying the actors, enjoying the language, enjoying the scenes and everything. The long run, it was amazing. So the challenge now is I want to get myself to that point where I can do that all the time with everything that I do. And that is where it is not easy. That is where it is not easy. How do I get myself to focus all the time on everything that I'm doing without thinking about the past or the present or the future? You're more
That way
productive.
your mind is divided.
The thing is, as he said, stress comes from either thinking about the past or the future. You focus on the now, you will hardly be stressful. When you say places are boring, it's boring what? In comparative to the past. You're comparing it either to the past or you're comparing it to a future that you want to create. But you focus on this is what is in front of me at this moment. What do I do with what is in front of me at this moment? You hardly use those statements as boring, as stressful, as painful, and all that.
And it cause things to feel satisfied. When we are able to live in the now and we keep living in the past and the future, we cause pain to ourselves first and to those around us. We might not know that we are causing pain to those around us, but that's just what we do. And we cannot, it's just like saying that you can't give out what you don't have. You can't give out happiness, joy, and all those things when deep inside of you you feel so much pain and so much hurt. So,
I was listening to this guy today, Said Guru, and the guy was trying to say that pain is inevitable once you're living. Pain is inevitable. All of us have to go through pain.
yeah,
If you haven't, then you will. That's a fact. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice. Suffering is a choice because suffering will only come in when your mind comes in, when the ego comes in. When you're going through pain, the next thing when you start thinking of okay, what if I didn't have this pain, or you start comparing the state that you are in with the state that you were in the past, that's when suffering comes in because you want to be the way you were in the past and that you are not at that moment. Or you start comparing yourself to how blissful you want the future to be.
Yeah.
You start suffering from that moment because you're not focused on that moment. You're comparing that moment with the future that is not yet around, and you're comparing it with the past that is still not around at that moment. So he was trying to make us understand that we cannot avoid pain. We cannot avoid pain. But let's avoid suffering. When you're going through pain, face it, accept it. This is what is happening. He also said, in every situation you're facing, you have three things to do. I think this is Eckhart Tolle saying that in every situation that you face, you have three things to do. One, either accept it wholeheartedly, avoid the negativity, just accept it
Yes,
wholeheartedly,
that's
or
true.
you move yourself away from the situation,
No,
or
so
you
most
change the
often we
situation.
suffer because we live in denial.
Yes, that is what he said. Yeah, I think that's the good part of it, and that one catch me the neck.
Yeah, it can't do that. It can't all
Hey, that
denial.
denial. You don't want the situation to be what it is. You want it to be what you have in your mind. Suffering comes in. So, so this amazing part of it, I said you have three things to do when you're facing any situation: change it, move away, or accept it. Any other thing else is madness. Those three words, they have revolutionized my thinking. Because he said either you change the situation. If you can change it, change it. If you cannot change it, move away. If you cannot move away, accept it. And once you accept it, avoid being negative. Accept it the way it is. Avoid judging it. Just do what needs to be done at that moment. That is what is difficult. Because your mind will always play those tricks. If this person not be doing so, if you're
This so
better.
you then and so.
For this, for better.
When you can't listen to you.
And the beautiful thing is, he said, if you want to take responsibility for your life, you have to apply these three things. Then, once you have changed it, or you have moved away, or you've accepted it, be willing to accept any consequence that comes. But remember, you must take action in every situation you face, because it's action that makes the difference.
When I was listening to it, I came to understand this statement from the farm who says that do not take life too seriously. That was when I started understanding the meaning of do not take life too seriously.
Hmm.
Do not take life too seriously. I mean, you shouldn't judge yourself because of the choices that you made or because of the decisions that you made. But then you should accept whatever situation you find yourself in. And what happened to us most often, we're not faced with problems, we just find ourselves in situations. And I was like, okay, so how is this man saying that we do not find ourselves in problems, we are faced with situations? And I'm like, he said because in the now you don't have a problem.
Yeah.
Close your eyes and think, do you have any problem? No, you're just faced with a
The
situation.
situation
So
you're facing.
obviously you don't have a problem, it's just a situation. I said, okay.
This is a beautiful experience. I think I'll keep trying to get myself to that point where I can focus on the now. And it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while because I think I've spent a lot of time focusing on either the future or the past. In fact, I had exhumed myself and I had actually freed myself from the past, but it's the future that I have always been so focused on that future. Then in the process of being focused on the future, I neglect the present. And as I neglect the present, it is those present moments that lead to the future. As I neglect the present, the future goes further. I think that is one of the things I got from here. Was I keep neglecting the present, focusing on that future. The future is still moving further because the future is a collection of this present moment. So I have to focus on this moment
To create a future.
to create that future. So if I keep looking at the future and not doing anything in the
And the
moment
future cannot do without this present moment. And this present moment cannot do without the future.
without the future,
So,
man get plenty work.
when you walk,
Plenty work. I see why most of these people don't waste their time fighting people because you have to first of all fight yourself. They fight you fight yourself and a full-time job.
and you even see them. This man, if you're not well rooted in your religion, you might say something that you don't get. You say, "I'm listening." He said religion is. He said something about religion that it's that some set of words created by some particular people and when they have been put in writing, they now have words. And he uses the example of honey. He said, if you tell me honey is sweet, you just know that honey is sweet until you have tasted honey to know that it is sweet, and now you understand that honey is sweet. So that's how you judge a child. And mom was it? I wanted to reason out some certain things that he was saying, and I began to see why you see most of this why they don't believe in church, Christianity, yeah, they believe in God, because they have to get some kind of perspectives.
Yeah, perspective about stuff. But the universal thing I like about most of them is the fact that they don't affirm any religion and they don't defame any of the religions.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
That's why even in their books, when you read these books, there are places they will quote Buddha, there are places they will quote Christ, there are
And you
places
have
they
to
will
see
quote Islam.
the way you have to see as the friend. Imagine this particular portion, I'm not listening to this. So that is a problem. And in almost all religion, they are talking about denial of self, whereas we cannot deny ourselves.
It is the fact that we are trying to deny ourselves that cause a lot of problems, even in the church. You're trying to deny your humanity. We know well we are spiritual beings having a human experience. That's very true. But when you try to deny the humanity, that's shop because it will take you unawares. You find yourself doing things that you did not believe that you could do. Why? Because you did not say you're not human. And when the human part don't take over that shop, you don't realize that you don't do terrible things. And you start asking yourself, what happened? Because you're refusing your humanity. Know your humanity, know the priorities of the human body, such that you can avoid them. But if you don't know are you, okay, they are shocked. They are shocked. You deny. See, you will enter the shop that day, you will understand. You will understand why. Say Jesus talked much about being on earth and being in heaven. Because you're human, there are certain things that you have to do, and that prayer can't do for you. But you as a human must do. Prayer will only prayer will help you, give you that spirit too. But if you don't take that action, God will only look and say, why did my picking so? You're suffering because you lack knowledge. Yeah, I don't give you oughting. Ha.
Even my pastor will always tell us that there are some things that prayers will never help, and even if you pray for that, you will not make it because God has already given you the means and everything to do it. There's some life principles that if you do not follow, whether you pray from here to which day, you will not happen until you follow those steps.
Massa. This guy, Miles Monroe in Kingdom Principles made us to understand that first of all, God created earth to extend his dominion to his heavenly dominion to earth. And once he created the earth, he gave domination of that earth to man. He gave it to you. So there are things that he will not do till you give him permission. There are things that he will not do till you give him permission. And if you don't know you, okay. You only look at the shake that shake. Say, this is my child. This is my child.
Just ask.
There are things that you will not do. That's why there are certain principles. There are certain.
No, and the dog will seek and be fine.
Yeah.
It means that if you do not ask, you won't be given. The dog will not go. If you don't seek, you won't find.
There are certain principles that the universe was created with that even God does not break it because he created the universe with those principles. There are principles you have to follow to be wealthy. There are principles you have to follow to be healthy. If you do not follow these principles, I will let you pray 24/7 now. You're scared. And that is why there are some people who are not Christians, but they are very wealthy. There are some people who are not Christians, but they are very healthy. Why? Because they are following those principles. Because whether Christian or not, if you do not follow those principles, you have to pay for it. You have to pay for it. But once you do, you'll enjoy the benefit, Pastor.
You know, what help this for somebody who follows those principles, there is being pursued by next time.
Being pursued by.
The only thing I'm facing no trust with follow that principle. Yeah.
You think so? You think that somebody can actually follow those principles and the witchcraft can stop the person? I differ with that. No, I differ with that. I differ with that. Because if you're following those principles, right? If you're following those principles, I think if you're actually following those principles, those people can't stop you. And the witchcraft they are talking about, if you're following those principles, you get to a point where the principle says you have to break that witchcraft, you have to break the spell upon you, and you will have to. So I don't feel say if you're following those principles untainted, you will be stopped by anybody, whether witchcraft, wait. So what is happening to Africa? When I talk about witchcraft, I never ask myself, say, we were talking so much about witchcraft and all that. Why if you say that same witchcraft not catch the white man on the other side? So we should be very careful when we talk about witchcraft. It's very subjective. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but we should be very careful. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us today on the discussion of By the Power of Now of Eckhart Tolle, the book The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I think it is with this note that we say bye-bye and see you. See you again. We'll see you next time for another episode of the book review. Have a beautiful evening.